Yeah, hang on.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow, we got Blicky get this. Oh, I'm not going to say that. Can you guys hear us okay? We got Chad Jensen. We got Zack Kelberman coming to you live. Can you guys hear us?
Press X if you can hear us.
I think you guys can hear us. We're just testing this out, guys, a new way to get both of us on screen. What up, Travis? What's up, Red Sports TV? Hey, dude, I recognize you. You got a different handle? That's the podcast, my Facebook buddy. What up, dude? Hey, you guys. All right, everybody's filing in. Chad Jensen, Zack Kelberman coming to you live. Don't worry, the Denver Broncos gut reaction to this game. That's not what this is. We're just testing out some Facebook Live or YouTube Live. That's the second time. And McManus down the middle. Okay, so the Broncos got on the board. All right.
He missed. He was short.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I looked away too soon.
Yeah, game of inches, death by inches, man.
All right, let's talk about what we've seen so far. Zach, your gut reaction so far to the first half, and then we'll get to some of our listener questions here, viewer questions here in just a sec.
Well, immediately they're playing way too tight, Chad. They're pressing really hard right now. They're not playing loose. They're not having fun out there. I think maybe the stage is too big for them. The prime time, being on a hostile environment. The offense looks like the offense of old. The defense looks like the defense of old. You would never know Vance Joseph's not coach his team anymore. I mean, based on 2 quarters of play, it's that bad. We can only hope there's adjustments to be made starting right this second.
This is unbelievable. Now, we've been trying to warn everybody that the Raiders are going to be better than than they've been given credit for because of the Antonio Brown thing. You know, that's kind of been a distraction. Everyone's been focusing on that. But this team is good. Zach, this team has some talent, and Tyrell Williams is looking like an all-pro. I mean, the Broncos, Vic Fangio's defense right now getting trucked. Yep. And the offense, let's talk about that first Rich Scangarello possession in which he tries to get cute with the Noah Fant jet sweep. What is he thinking?
I don't know. He literally, he got too cute. That's the only thing I can really say. He's trying to outsmart the other opponent, and he's not sticking to his bread and butter. And even what I noticed about the first possession or one of the first possessions, they're calling Royce Freeman-type runs for Phillip Lindsay and Lindsay-type runs for Freeman. Keep it simple, Rich Scangarello. You stick to your ground game and use that to set up the pass. You have a good thing going with Cortland Sutton and Joe Flacco right now. Build on that, settle the game down, and don't run sweeps with your rookie tight end who's falling apart in this game. Don't put Flacco back there behind this offensive line that still looks like it's a sieve. You got to stick to your strengths, and they're going away from it. They're just fundamentally not prepared, not ready to play this game from the coaching on down.
The Oakland Raiders have 41 rushing yards and 178 passing yards in the first half alone. This team is on pace for 400 plus in terms of yardage. And we were talking in the podcast today that published earlier Monday that, you know, if there's a game to sit Bryce Callahan to kind of roll the dice, this is it. There's no Antonio Brown. That is one miscalculation. I think it's safe to say now, Zach, that we made. However, that's not to say that Bryce Callahan could have gone or that he was that close. They worked him out hard on the field before the game and ultimately chose not to. But, man, with the money they've got invested in Chris Harris, the money they've got invested in Bryce Callahan and Kareem Jackson, you would expect to see better than 178 yards passing against this secondary in the first half.
I give the credit, and that's what we talked about in the pod, too. It's John Gruden. He's still a veteran coach. He's been around forever. He still knows what he's doing there. And Vic Fangio is a rookie head coach. He's a first-time head coach, and he's going through the same adjustments and growing pains like all the players. So Gruden, give him credit. The other team gets paid, too. The other coaches get paid, too. He had a good game plan. He's executing it. I don't know why the Broncos won't move Isaac Yiadom off Tyrell Williams. I don't know why they are not giving him help or rolling more zone coverage out. They're being stubborn. All I can really say without trying to overreact or hyperventilate, it looks a lot like the Broncos of 2018. Just going away with what they win with and shooting themselves in the foot. There's no difference between now and last year's outfit through 2 quarters.
All right, let's get to some because, you know, these halftimes go by quicker than you realize. I've come to understand myself doing these YouTube lives. They come and go quick. So let's get to some of these listener reactions and questions. Here's what Sideswipe DJ's saying. He goes, it's only 14-0, and they're already hanging their heads. There's no fire. Does it seem like from an energy perspective, Zach, the Broncos, their eyes are down? Is Vic Fangio going to be able to rally this team in the locker room?
We can only see what happens. And this is still his first game too, and that's what we kind of hinted at this offseason. It's going to be a process. It's not going to fall into place overnight. We saw his growing pains in the preseason, and those are sometimes the things to come, a predictor of future events. We can only hope there's adjustments to be made because honestly, they can't look worse than they looked in these 2 quarters. I would assume they're going to kind of play more tighter defense now, and they're going to put some sort of points on the board. But is this hole now too big enough? Are they built to come from behind? Even 2 touchdowns. Is this lead already insurmountable? It would have been for Case Keenum last year. It would have been for Trevor Siemian the year before. This will determine whether this Broncos team is something different or more of the same from the past.
Here's JS9798. I think that's Jacob. I'm not sure. But he says the Raiders used the same game plan last year. Quick passes to slow the pass rush down. The coaching staff overreacts and does crazy stuff like dropping Miller and Chubb into coverage. Now, the Chubb and Miller thing into coverage, that's going to happen time to time. But I think it's more a result, Zach, of the Raiders offense just keeping this Vic Fangio's off balance. And I think the players are as well. Like, they're a little shook right now. And if they're going to even have a chance in this game, it's only 2 scores. I mean, the problem is we've got now 2 years in a row where we see the lights go out on this team if they're trailing in the first half. The lights have just gone out. Now, that was under Vance Joseph. We got to remember, there's a new sheriff in town. This is Vic Fangio. This is Mike Munchak. Rich Scangarello, he's a new guy on the block, but there's some veteran wherewithal. Ed Donatel. Let's see if that savvy can reshape this kind of emotional, mental mindset the Broncos have and get them out there on the field fighting with some pride. This is ugly.
I just think a lot of Broncos fans or some sect of Broncos fans thought Vic Fangio was going to come in there and live up to his reputation right away. Everyone read his press clippings about him being this defensive mastermind and this genius, and he very well might have been as a defensive coordinator, but it's a whole different playing field now that he's a head coach. Vance Joseph proved that the last couple of years. So, the fact that the Raiders got out in front, the fact that he's off balance right now, it's still a shell-shock thing for him, too. It's still his first game, too. He's going to go through his growing pains. I would assume we'll see a little tighter defense. That's the only thing I can really predict out of halftime. They can't play, more man coverage. They have to play to their strengths. I would hope, though, if Vic Fangio is this disciplinarian, this old-school guy, that he is laying into the team right now and saying it's just not good enough. The Broncos have a standard of winning, and going into halftime down 14-0 on the road on primetime does not come anywhere close to that.
Arvind wants to know what's the situation with Juwan James. What terrible luck, man. He's got a knee injury. He's questionable to return. So he's not ruled out, so it must not be that bad. Let's hope he gets back in because I think Eli Wilkinson, as a swing guy, he's pretty solid. He got burned on that one play, but you need your big dollar right tackle. I mean, these games, this game counts, y'all. Let's get all hands on deck. Juwan James, this was the big concern with him. Since he entered the league as a first-round pick in 2014, only twice has he played all 16 games. The Broncos paid him. They thought, as the broadcast has done a good job tonight, they thought they had the right tackle situation worked out, but Juwan James questionable to return, according to Patrick Smythe, Broncos PR.
Yeah, in the last couple of years, that was his thing in Miami, man. I mean, he had a hamstring injury to his other leg in 2017. He had a knee injury last year. That was why the Dolphins were content letting him go. Part of the reason why we heard Chad after the Broncos signed him, and that the Dolphins were laughing at the Broncos and they compared him to a whoopee cushion, if you remember that story. So there might be something to his reputation coming back and biting him. I like Wilkinson, but it's a big downgrade in talent going from James to him. And now that Wilkinson's in the game, the Broncos are pretty much out of depth across their offensive line. They just have 2 other players, and it's an unfortunate situation that injuries are already striking such an Achilles heel for them last couple of years.
Brandon Barrett wants to know, why can't we stop Carr? He went 29 of 32 last year, and this year, on this game anyway, he is, as of halftime, he's 16 of 17. He's got 1 incompletion. I think part of it is the scheme that John Gruden has dialed up. It really just has Vic Fangio on his heels. They've been able to run the ball just well enough that they're getting good short yardage situations on the money down, so Miller and Chubb can't pin their ears back. But the Broncos don't have a single sack. I can't even think of a single hit on Carr unless I'm misremembering.
Yeah, I mean, they're just credit to the Raiders' game plan again. Credit to the coaching staff. They're keeping the Broncos on their heels. Quick passes, 3-step drops, not letting the pressure get to them. They've gotten kind of close, but Carr is really confident in the pocket. And Chad, we talked about it multiple times. At least I don't think Derek Carr is a horrible quarterback. I think he gets a lot of undue hate, especially from Broncos fans. This guy a couple years ago was still a Pro Bowl signal caller, and he still has that talent. And credit to the Raiders and him for coming out and just lighting the game on fire.
Alicia Johnson says, Noah Fant in his penalties. Can't have it. Great point, Alicia. That's 2 penalties in the first half on Fant. One negated 10 yards of Cortland Sutton's 30-yard gain, and then on a block in the back, and then the second one, a holding foul in that final 2-minute drill. He looks a little shaky. I expected to see better from Noah Fant. And hopefully, I think part of it too, though, is like this kind of goes back to the Derek Carr question, which is Carr, if you notice, he's getting rid of the ball as soon as he hits the back foot of his drop. Joe Flacco is not. That's a big difference. So that's one of the reasons why the Broncos haven't been able to get to Carr. He's unloading the ball. Joe Flacco, he's not quite as sure of what he's seeing, and it's causing things to go a little ski-wampus for the Broncos.
Even if, Derek Carr lost his best weapon, Antonio Brown, he still had an all offseason of chemistry with the other receivers. He's still a damn good quarterback. And that's what the difference between the Broncos operation, so many new moving players, so many new moving parts, all those new different schemes. That's just the difference in the game right now is that Joe Flacco. And it was always going to come down this entire season to Joe Flacco. Big
Daddy Kane says, death by yards. So much for death by inches, right?
Death by a lot of things right now. Penalties, incompetency, it's pretty bad right now.
Let's see here. We've got from Denver Broncos, Mile High View. As I brought up many times, Broncos do not have the 5th best defense because there is 0 push into the QB's face. Yadam is an easy target when the QB gets rid of the ball in 3 seconds, and that's a good point.
Nothing's going to push in this game at all, and that would disrupt Carr's timing. Again, that's the same issue. I mean, DeMarcus Walker can't, get something going up the middle. Shelby Harris, they got to get Carr in his, get him down on the ground or get in his face. Get your hands up and disrupt his timing.
No surprise, Isaac Yadam tackling 8 dudes so far. 8 solo tackles, leads the team because probably at least 6 of those were passes relinquished into his coverage.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here before we run out of time. Here's one from Brandon Barrett. Zach, can you see that on your screen?
Yeah, Devontae Bosby.
Okay, good. We're testing this out, you guys, and you're going to be getting a lot more of these as we get into the season. Yeah. Brandon Barrett says, Devontae Bosby, is he still available? Of course. Yeah. What's going on? I don't know. Hopefully that's one of the halftime adjustments, Zach, that Fangio makes is you don't bench Yadam. You don't completely crush his confidence because you're going to need him this year, but
got to
work in Bosby.
And just to your team, though, you got to put another player on the better. You got to try something because Yadam's not cutting it on Tyrell Williams or any receiver. You got to roll with other players. So we talked about him a lot, Chad Bosby, this offseason. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Here's one from Psychotic Potato. He says, why are we not putting Kareem at corner and Will Parks out at safety? That's a good question that we haven't really ever gotten a good answer from Vic Fangio since OTAs. They pretty early zeroed in on safety for Kareem. They liked him there. But maybe this is one of those games where, I don't think you're going to get that much of an evaluation on this topic from Fangio because they're basically trying to make do without Callahan. So in this case, maybe you do put Jackson back in, but I don't think this game is going to affect whether or not Jackson stays at safety throughout the course of the season or goes to corner.
Yeah, ideally, that's the big problem right here is Callahan. Like Chad said at the beginning of the broadcast, we kind of maybe underestimated his loss in this game. They brought him in, though. They put all their eggs in the basket, and Kareem Jackson played him at safety since the day they signed him pretty much. We have to hope they made the right decision because he was still a natural corner all his career. He played well at safety a little bit last year in Houston, but he still was a natural corner.
All right, guys, game's about to go back on. I know there's a lot of you hanging out with us right now. Bear with us. We're going to be back as soon as the game's over. We'll do a gut reaction podcast for you guys where we can kind of let our hair down and dive deep into this and react. Hopefully your Denver Broncos are going to at least make this a game in the second half. But in the meantime, you guys, I'm putting this comment right now. I'm dropping a link into YouTube. Check it out. This is our game day open thread. Right now, myself, Zach, Eric Trickle, Nick Kendall, Carl Dumler, we're all breaking down this game in real time, reacting, sharing our observations in our weekly game day open thread. I just dropped the link. It's easy to log in. You just click follow at the very top where it says Mile High Huddle. You'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, follow, click that, log in with Google, log in with Facebook, and then you comment. It's free. No cost. So come join that. Sound off. we want to funnel this great community of you guys to milehighhuddle.com, not only reading the articles, listening to the podcast, but on these game day open threads. We want the conversation. We crave it. So in the meantime, check out Zach on Twitter at Kelberman NFL. You can see mine there on the screen at Chad and Jensen. I appreciate you guys bearing with us as we're working out the kinks on this StreamYard we're using to go live. So appreciate all you guys. We'll talk to you after the game and see where this thing ends up.
And stay off the ledge, guys. It'll be okay.
Stay off the ledge. Chad Jensen, Zack Kelberman signing off. Talk to you guys soon.